Hey guys, this is Rachel Youngson from UsePLR.com and WholeFoodPLR.com. We are here with our PLR Power Hour. We do this every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern at www.rachelonzoom.com. This is where we ask questions about PLR, get some guidance on PLR resources, and sometimes we have expert guests, which we have today. Today we have a really exciting webinar. We're going to be learning what to do with those PLR planners and journals from the wonderful Jenn Brockman over at PLR Planners and Journals. Hey Jenn, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hi Jenn, how are you today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Happy Tuesday.
Thanks.
So I am going to go ahead and make you a host, and then we can get started. If you guys have any questions while this is going on, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, and I can make sure that Jenn gets them before we part with her today. Also, Jenn, just so you know, when you list resources, for instance, like your web link, I'll drop that in the chat box so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, guys, here is Jenn. Jenn, do you remember how to share the screen? If you want to share
that out real quick. Yes, I do. I have stuff to share. I just have to remember how to do it.
It's okay. If you scroll to the bottom of your box.
I got it. I think.
Oh, great.
Let me know if you see it. Oh, I guess I got to push the share button. Huh. Did that work?
Yep, it has worked. Great.
Okay, great. Alrighty. Hi, everybody. My name is Jenn Brockman, and I run Planner Journal PLR.com. And Rachel and I were just talking before we started that my site has been up and down all week long, and I'm still waiting for my host to help figure that out. This morning it seems to be up and working okay, but I am not certain about what's going to happen with that. So I'm pretty sure that Rachel can share my backup shop, which is over at gumroad.com, and you can buy whatever you want through either site, depending on which one you can get to. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get started. I started selling PLR templates of all sorts back in September. And what prompted me to really get started with this stuff is I have a special needs daughter. And at one point, I really needed to create some charts that would help me track like what her medicines were and what her blood sugars were, and a whole series of other things. And I didn't know how to do that. And it took me a while, but I finally landed on some information where I learned how to do it myself. And then I thought, well, I bet there's plenty of other people out there who could use these same templates and sell them to their own clients or give them away to like their readers on a blog and that kind of stuff. So I went from creating what I call a retail product, which is a finished planner or journal or set of templates in a PDF. It's an end product that you can't edit, to doing PLR. And I thought what I would do today is show you guys kind of how you can take one template that's intended for a specific purpose and turn it into something completely different. So what you're looking at on my screen is one of my Google Drive accounts. And if you're not familiar with Google Drive, it's free, and it comes with a suite of other platforms. It's kind of like Microsoft Office, where you get something to, like create documents, and you get PowerPoint, and you get a few other things. Same thing here with Google Drive. So we're inside of what they call Google Slides, and it works very much the same way as PowerPoint does. And it's what I actually prefer to work in, although it does not offer as many functions, I guess, as PowerPoint. However, the really cool thing is you can open up PowerPoint files, and then when you get done creating in here, you can then resave them as a PowerPoint file. So that's what I do. I create in here, and then when I'm done, I save it as a PowerPoint file, and then that's what I, in turn, sell to other people to use. Okay. Before I jump into showing anything, Rachel, did you have any questions, or are there any other questions that we should hit up before I kind of show an example?
It would help if I unmuted myself. Sorry.
I was like, oh no, please tell me they can hear me.
No, I think that we're ready for the presentation. I do have the send-in question that we talked about yesterday, so I'll refresh on that after the presentation.
Okay.
But other than that, I think we're good.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to start with is something that it's actually a set of files that was in one of my bundle products. So when I first started, I put out my first 3 products were bundles. So you got like 25 templates altogether, and 5 of them were like business related templates. 5 of them were daily planner templates. 5 of them were notes or journal pages. And then, you know, another 5 of them were goals. And in one pack, you got a whole set of recipe templates. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. You can kind of see overall what they are here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so looking at these 2, okay, I guess we'll go with this view. How's that? Okay, so over here, this one is obviously a recipe template. It's really simple. You can add more to it, or you can change the colors, or you can change fonts, which is what I recommend. If you buy some of my templates, or actually any PLR anywhere, I recommend that you change it at least a little bit to make it your own. Otherwise, not that everybody in your industry is going to be seeing everything that you do or everything that everybody else does, but you don't run the risk of confusion for your own customers. Like, they're not going to see exactly the same thing from you as they do from somebody else. However, stay on track here, kid. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this basic recipe template and I turned it into a daily planner page. And I'll show you kind of on the end product or on the end pages how I did that, because it's really super easy. You can see there's another version of the same layout. It's got the, you know, the shorter, not shorter, the thinner side on here, and then a wider side here. And I've just done the same thing over here, but I added in boxes instead of a timetable. And, you know, just kind of threw in some brainstorming ideas here. You know, maybe for a project, you need to know who your team members are and how to get a hold of each one of them. Maybe you need to know what platforms you're going to use for that particular project. Up here, you know, maybe your project is related to creating a product to sell, and you need to figure out what categories that's going to fit into. So if I'm creating a daily planner versus a recipe template, then I could, you know, enter those things in there. The deadline, when do I need to have it done? Goals, you know, maybe I want to sell a certain amount, or maybe I want to hit a certain amount of pages within it. There, you know, there's just all kinds of things that you could do there. Those are just things that I did kind of off the top of my head when I was creating this. And then I just added in like this cute little graphic here. Oh, forgot, I gotta zoom in to do that. So we're gonna scroll down and take a look at another option. So this one This is pretty much the same as this. It's just flipped on the sides. And then this has a little bit of a different colored background. If I were to go in here and change the font, that's really all you would have to do to make this your own. And then maybe add in your business name or your website name at the bottom of the page. And it's yours. It's different enough that people, you know, it might take them a little bit to figure out that it looks like the same thing as somebody else. And then you can see that I just did the same thing here. I created another version of this project page, but with this layout. So hopefully it makes sense that, you know, you can use just a really simple basic template and turn it into all kinds of other things just by adding in a little element here or there. Okay, so coming down here, you can see this meal plan. It's got, you know, the days of the week and a shopping list. Well, that's really simple to turn into a weekly planner page. Same thing, you just leave that there, and then you can write in, you know, like appointments for each day of the week. And over here, maybe this is your master list of to-dos. You know, you could make it whatever it needs to be. So I'm going to go through on these last couple of pages and show you how easy it is to turn them into something else, and how Google Slides, sorry, took me a second, how Google Slides actually works. This will, of course, be different than if you're actually using PowerPoint, although, again, you can absolutely use these templates in PowerPoint. And I actually have PowerPoint on my computer. I just rarely use it. Oh.
That always, it's so funny. It's like that or the doorbell or the UPS guy.
I know. Well, my mom lives with me too. My mom and my daughter and I all live together. And I said, Mom, I'm going to be doing this webinar. So can you try to like avoid being out here? She said, yeah, but I got to go get lunch. And I said, okay, that's fine. But I knew the dogs would bark.
You know what? Everyone on here is used to me and my shenanigans. So it's no problem.
At least they didn't go on and on and on. So, all right. So one of the immediate thoughts that I had for this particular template is for anybody who is familiar with bullet journaling, this particular layout is perfect for that. Because in the front of a bullet journal, you have I think they call it a key, or basically it's like your index page, where throughout your journal you have your weeklies, your monthlies, maybe you have a what they call a future log, where you write down any kind of appointments that are coming up so that you could add them into your dailies or weeklies later. And this particular page lends itself to that just great. So we're going to jump in here, and I'm going to show you how to make this have a little bit more color to it to start with. So, okay, so we're going to go to background. And from here, you can choose to just change the color. Go with something we can see. And you can click done. And there you go. It's nice and bright. But, you know, then maybe that's not, maybe it's not as easy to see on that background. Just kind of depends. Let me show you a different way to do a background. We're going to choose an image. Now from here, you can just grab it from your computer, or you can grab it actually from inside your Google Drive. And I have a whole folder set up with all of my graphics. And I buy my graphics at places like, of course, I'm going to forget them, Font Bundles, and they actually have graphics too. It's not just fonts. The Hungry JPEG. There's several places where you can buy commercial rights to use the graphics that you find.
Hey, Jen, real
Yeah,
quick, just a side note, if you have affiliate links for any of those,
yeah.
please feel free to get them to me after the webinar, and I'll get those in the master replay that we have.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah, I do. I do. In fact, I think one of those places has a sale through the 30th. I'm not sure which one it is, but I know I just bought everything that's in this particular folder that we're looking at right now. I bought them all for $1 each, and then I got a whole bunch more of those too on top of that for $1 each. It was an amazing
Wow.
sale. If it's still on, I'll definitely link you guys to it because it was amazing. So from in here, okay, I know that these are covers, or not covers, but they're a solid background. And I'll show you what I mean versus something else. So we'll just pick this one just for the sake of demonstration. Okay, so that's a great background. However, you can't see what you're looking at now. So you can highlight that space where the lines are. Okay. The best way to deal with that is you're going to come up here and grab a shape. We're just going to do a square. And we're going to add it on here. Okay, so that's great. It's everything, right? Well, if you right click, sorry about that, and you come down here to order, send it backwards, maybe a couple of times. Or you can send it all the way to the back. If you send it too far back though, and actually no, forget that. So we send it to the back, and now you can see your lines again. And actually that gray color is really good with that particular background color. So we can leave it like that, or if you want, you can change that. Be able to do it first. So you can see the background color to something else. We can make it completely white, or we can make it blue. But, you know, just as an example. I think we'll go back to that gray color. That's not the gray color. Okay. Okay, so now your recipe thing doesn't show up so well. Let's play with a couple of things here. And I promise we won't stay on this too long, but let's take a look at what we can do. So inside Google products, you have access to Google Fonts, and they have, I don't even know how many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different Google Fonts. They're free to use commercially and, you know, for personal projects. So if you can't find anything in your current list, and when you first start off, you don't have all of these in here. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. But if you don't find something that you want, you can come up here and go to more fonts, and then you can do a search for more that you're looking for. And everything that you have already is going to show up here on this side. Let's just do as well, I guess we are on that. Let's do by alphabetical. And you can see there's just tons and tons of different kinds. And then if you find one you want to go ahead and add, let's just grab this one. You click on it so that that check mark shows up, and you click OK, and it adds it, and it's actually going to change it already. And then you can come in here and you can actually change your font color too. We'll make that white. Not that that helps a whole lot. So let me show you this. When I highlighted that text area, it pulls up some extra icons on my toolbar. One of those is fill color. So this is going to change the background. So you can make it solid, make it a little bit easier to read a color on it. And there's a whole lot more stuff that you can dig into. There's format options, so you can make drop shadows. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to get into all of that because I just want to show you guys like super simple and easy ways to change things to make them your own. If you wanted to keep this kind of all uniform, you highlight that other one and you just click that. That changes your text here. So everything kind of matches. And let's change this. So if we were turning this into an index page for your bullet journal, like I said earlier, I think they call them keys. So you just name it. I mean, you could name it whatever is relevant to what you're turning this into. So that's just a really simple way to kind of leave the majority of that intact, but make, what did we do? Like 3 or 4 different little things that are pretty simple. And now it looks different and it's your own. So let me come down to this slide. Obviously, it's a recipe template. What kind of things could you turn this into? You could totally turn this into a journal page. You could make, so for instance, okay, that laugh, that's my pet dove, Daisy. I knew all my animals would make an appearance today.
Are you serious? That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
We adopted her from the Humane Society. I think it's been 2 years ago. It really, there's like not a remarkable story around it, except that I went in to look at her because I was like, really, a dove as a pet? I hadn't really heard of that before. So I went in to meet her and she was so stressed out from all of the barking dogs that I just was like, oh my God, I have to take her. I have to get her somewhere quiet. And my house is honestly quiet most of the time. So she's been with us ever since. And she's really, really pretty laid back and really quiet and super pretty. She's all white.
Oh, she sounds pretty.
She's funny. Maybe I'll send you guys a picture later.
Yeah, I'll make sure everyone gets it. I'm good at that.
I have a few pictures of her on my head. She doesn't fly a lot, but when she does fly, she tends to land wherever she can, and sometimes that's my head. Okay, so getting back to this, let's say we want to just turn it into like a journal page. Let's just make it super simple. One thing we could do is maybe get rid of this little box. We're just going to highlight it and click delete. And maybe we want to go ahead and use this, but turn it into a writing page. So you can see as soon as I change that, it kind of adjusts the lines. Well, you don't need to necessarily keep those. I'm going to show you how to make it something different. So you could write in a prompt here, like a journaling prompt. It could be, a question that helps you get your client to think about what they need to sort through. And then you just create your lines. And there's several ways to do lines. What I have found is the absolute simplest is just to do control and then your, not control, shift. Goodness. Hold on. Shift and then your underline key. And this works best once you've decided what size your box is going to be, because again, if you change your box size, it's going to change the way your lines are laid out. So, but once you have that figured out, instead of having to hold down that key a whole bunch, you just copy it, and then all I'm doing, because I'm on a PC, I'm not on a Mac, is I hit Control V to put in all of those lines. Oh, and that's too many. So super simple to put those lines in there. And so you have a prompt here. You could do the same thing down here and put in another prompt. And maybe those lines are too small. Maybe your people need bigger spaces. So you would come up here and change from 14 to, let's say, 24. And see what I mean by changing things? That's kind of scary looking. So I'm just going to delete those. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did earlier. I'm just going to highlight them, copy it. Sorry, I did that on my keyboard. That's Control-C and then Control-V.
Hey, Jen, I have a quick question for you from Sandra.
Yes.
Those boxes, are they created by inserting a text box?
Yes, exactly. Let me show you. I'll start that from scratch. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, sorry. When I hit the control thing, I completely resized my whole screen.
No worries. You would not believe the tech problems I have, so it's totally okay.
Well, sometimes I do that on purpose, but you know, not in this case. Okay, so yeah, all you have to do is come grab a text box. You're gonna put it in there whatever size you want, and then again, you just type it in there. And then create your line. Another thing, yeah, I say that now, I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that. So yeah, it's just a text box. And then copy, paste. You can change the colors here. So let's say you just want to leave it on that white background. Change it for color. Let's say we want to do something Christmas themed. There you go. It's red. Maybe you want to do a different font. When I'm designing, I typically use just Arial. And then I figure, you know, anybody who buys this, they can change it to whatever they want later. But Arial gives a nice, clean, easy to read font. Well, let's look at what it does when we change that. So you'll see that the lines even change when you switch fonts. So that's something to be aware of too. And actually, when people download my product, there's a tips and rights PDF that they get with the links to download the products in it. And part of those tips is exactly what I just showed. That when you adjust a text box or you change your font or you change the size of the font, all of those things can affect your lines if you're using text lines. So it's just something to be aware of. It took a whole 2 seconds to fix it. Okay, so the other thing is, let's take a look at this. This actually just came from my shapes folder. This little ribbon type thing here. Pretty sure that's where I got it. I'm not seeing it right off the bat, but I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. So you can change the color of that as well. Since we're going with Christmas themes. Here we go. I just changed the whole thing to green. But now this doesn't show up so well. And this is just a text box on top of that ribbon. So let's change it to the same font that we use down here. And we're going to make that font white to show up. And maybe it needs to be bigger. Except that's too big.
You know, it's so amazing how different this looks. Like, I would never, it's like, this is one of those times where I feel like I could even buy the exact same package from you as someone in my niche who I know my customers also follow, and we could easily have two totally different things. This is really neat.
Exactly. Yes, that is the whole point, and I think there's a lot of people who don't understand that about this kind of PLR. So, yeah, I mean, we've completely changed the way this looks, and you could go further. You could go ahead and do a different background. Let me show you how to add a graphic or a photo. So, again, this is kind of going to work the same way as that background that we did earlier, where I can go to Drive or I can grab something from my Google Photos, or I can grab something off of my computer. I don't think I have anything stored on my computer anymore. I've had too many computers drop on me. So I pretty much save everything to Drive, but we'll do that real quick. Well, I say real quick, if the computer will cooperate with me.
No worries. I work with OneDrive, and I get the same pushback. So.
Okay, let's go back into my design bundles folder. And okay, so we were talking about turning this into a journal page, and we were talking about doing Christmas, so I guess this doesn't matter, or just doesn't make sense anymore. So we'll just leave it like that. We'll just grab these. They're not necessarily Christmassy, but they're funny. So all right, we'll go with the Chihuahua because that's what one of my dogs looks kind of. So it brings it in full size, which is obviously really big, way too big, but you can just grab a corner and resize that. We will just get rid of a few of these lines, and voila. You have something cute to go along with the rest of your journal page. Super simple, super easy, and just like you said, Rachel, you can completely change up whatever you're trying to design here. And all I've worked with, I have not done anything complicated at all, like in regards to using this particular software. This is all like top layer difficulty, it's not digging down at all. So hopefully that actually helps explain everything and show some examples of how things can change. Another really cool thing that I love in particular about Google Drive, and maybe a lot of places or a lot of softwares offer this, but let's say you get this designed and you, let's say we're going to do a whole daily planner and we want to include all of these files. So I'm going to click Shift to highlight everything between here and here. We'll go back and get rid of them. I'm going to copy it. We'll come up here to the front of the line and we'll repaste them. So you can effectively just copy and paste until you get the number of pages that you need. And you can create your entire journal or your entire planner that way. If you don't want the recipe ones in there, like obviously we wouldn't if we were making a daily journal, then you just go through and delete them. And there you go. You have your whole planner.
Wow.
Other than these two things. And then, so, in this vein, let me show you one more thing. Let's make a quick cover to go with it. So when you click the drop-down arrow right next to the plus sign, you're going to have all of these options. These are like your layouts, just like they would be in PowerPoint, basically. They do have like preset, different colored ones. Excuse me. I think there's probably a limited amount compared to what you can get in PowerPoint. But if you're using your own backgrounds and you're kind of designing using these other elements anyway, you don't necessarily need all of those. So I'm going to double click on that to bring it up. And actually, before I do that, let me show you something really cool. So I'm going to go down to this slide and I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to Control C for copy. to come back up here. This is the thing that I find is really, really cool. And then I'm going to paste it here. So I just did Control V. So I took it from one slide and put it on the other. I didn't have to go back in and re-find it and do all of that. And then I'm just going to turn it around. You can leave it hanging off and it will, it'll cut it off when you actually save it. Or you can make it fit, whichever way you see fit. I'm going to put in a text box and we're just going to call it journal because I'm not feeling super highly creative right at the moment. So I just made the font bigger and now I'm going to make it centered. And then I'm going to come down here and that's going to center it inside of the text box. So it's centered horizontally and vertically, which is pretty cool. Let's pick something fun, although the rest of the templates just use a simple Arial. We'll pick on something else. And then you could even change that color to kind of match. You can do custom colors too. So like if you know what your hex color is, that works, but I don't. So we're just gonna go with a preset. And so you could even go further and make your text box colored into what? So there's like some purple in that chevron color. So we're going to come to the fill color. Oh, there you go. And then you can like get it right up next to that. You could go further and like copy and paste that and then put that down here. There's so many things you could do with just a plain piece of paper and a couple of elements that, you know, could make it very unique and fun, or simple and straightforward. There's so many things. You just kind of have to be creative and play with things a little bit, or be willing to play with things at least a little bit. You know, these templates pretty much just give you a solid basis to start from.
You know, it also seems just pretty darn fun.
Yeah. In high school, I was bound and determined to go to college and become an art teacher and teach people how to do all of that. And then life did not go that way for me. And I kind of got away from art of any sort. And that's kind of what this is for me. It's a little bit of art therapy.
You know, Sandra just wanted me to let you know that copy and paste trick that you did, she loves it. It's great. And I love it too. It's pretty cool.
Amazing. And there again, I don't know whether that same trick transfers over to something like PowerPoint, because I don't use PowerPoint a whole lot. But, you know, the other thing is too, like if you work in this program first, you can always download the file and then put it into PowerPoint and like finish things up over there, you know. So it's a great platform because it works with other things as well.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So let's say that we are finished with our journal.
Mm-hmm.
And what would we do at that point? I assume we'd put it into a PDF. And then we would, what types of places would you recommend selling it? Does Etsy do journals? I know you and I had spoken a little bit about it before.
Yeah, so, okay, so there's quite a few places you can do this. You could sell on your own website. You can sell absolutely on Etsy. Etsy does charge a fee. And I don't know what that fee is right off the top of my head. Some people have really good success through Etsy, but there's, just like any other platform, there's some, you know, background and learning to it. You can sell on places like Gumroad. Gumroad kind of lets you create your own store, but then they also have a marketplace that is searchable. And I've actually had some sales. When I first started selling these, I started off on Gumroad, and I actually had quite a few sales that came from the marketplace, not just from my affiliates and from my own promotion. So, so marketplaces are a great way to get your name out there. I'm trying to think where else. I'm actually seeing more and more of this kind of stuff sold through the Facebook marketplace as well. However, I think you probably have to redirect your people to, wherever they can buy them, whether that is at Etsy or your own website or whatever. But I'm seeing a lot of people listing more digital products there. So that's something to consider too. Yeah, since you asked me though, let me go through this real quick. I'll show you how to actually turn this into a PDF that you can resell or share.
Thank you. And then I do have a question after that too.
Okay. Yeah, this won't take very long at all. So once you've decided that everything is the way you want it, that it's ready to sell or ready to download to be sold, inside of Google Drive or Google Slides and Google Drive, you're going to come up here to the file, and you'll come here to where it says download as, and it'll pull up all of these different options. We can turn it into PowerPoint, which is what I would do if I'm going to put it on my PLR site. I'm going to turn it into that kind of a file. If you're selling it to an end user that they're not going to edit it, you just click on PDF. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but it just downloaded right here to my computer. So then you would, you'd gather up whatever files you needed to do that with, and then you go upload that file or all of your files to whatever selling platform you're using.
So I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
The first is from Sandra. Sandra is a travel agent, and she was wondering if we could turn these into hard copy. So like once we're done with that, if we can turn it into like a physical.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other place that I didn't think about. So there's plenty of print on demand or pod sites that you can you can upload your file to, and they will create an actual real hard copy journal that can be sold to people. When you can also do that with Amazon, and there's actually like a whole industry of people teaching how to do that. The drawbacks with Amazon in particular is to do it in color costs an arm and a leg. So designing like this fun journal with the color in it would be maybe cost prohibitive for most people to sell it that way on Amazon, just as an individual. However, the print on demand sites, you can kind of do more color with them. So yeah, the short answer is yes, you sure can.
That's great. That's Sandra. I think that would be amazing. What she's thinking about, of course, making the hard copies for her, because for her line of work, and I think that would be amazing at events and things.
You can also take your files to places like like Staples or Office Max or whatever, and they can make them for you too. And there again, it just kind of depends on how big your file is, how much it'll cost, but they can actually make you hard copies as well.
Now, Mira wants to know why would we turn it into a PPT instead of a PDF?
Okay, I think I said that when I was showing that. If I'm going to resell these as PLR, so I'm going to sell them to you, Amira, to use as your own and to be able to edit on your own and then resell, you have to have the PowerPoint file. If I give you a PDF, you can't edit that. So that's really the only reason you would do that. If you're selling an end product that does not get edited edited by your customer, then yeah, you just want a PDF.
Now, as far as the print or on-demand sites, is there a site that you would recommend? Mira is asking if you could recommend a site that would accept PLR materials. She's saying Amazon has rules against that, and you are right, Mira. They do have, Amazon does have rules against PLR, but the thing of it is, if it is just like when we're doing our PLR articles, if they're rewritten enough that they look nothing like how you first got them, they have enough of your own content in them, then people have actually turned that into Kindle books and put them on Amazon with no issue, because there's such a difference. So it's my guess is it would be the same with the planners.
Actually, let me interject there, because what I have learned through the other people who are teaching how to do this, there are people who are putting up like hundreds of journals a day and planners a day on Amazon KDP. I don't know if I can explain it quite so eloquently, but basically when it comes to a planner or a journal, you can only get so many variations. So they don't crack down on those in the same way that they would written PLR. So it's kind of like, what do they call those notebooks that they sell in the stores that they've been selling for years and years and years, that they have like the black and white marbled.
Composition books.
Composition books. So you can put a different cover on the same composition book and it's the same thing inside, right? The only thing that's different is your cover. And if you go on to Amazon, you will find millions of composition books, maybe not millions, but a lot of them, that they are exactly the same thing inside. They just have a different cover. So, yeah. I am not an expert in that field. I can probably point you to some people who are. I have not actually tackled doing that part of it. I've considered it, but I haven't done it yet. So kind of the rules when it comes to planners and journals specifically are slightly different when it comes to PLR. However, like Rachel said earlier, I definitely recommend, and it's like the first thing that I say in my my instructions to my buyers is change it. Change the font, change some of the colors, something to make it your own.
Mira says that she thought it was all PLR that was disallowed. Yeah, Mira, I actually used to think that. I believed that too until just a couple of months ago. Charles Terrence Harper from the PLR show, he is actually the first person who showed me that you can actually, if you change your PLR, written PLR enough, then you can actually get it onto Amazon without any issues. Now, what does enough mean? That I'm not sure of. But Charles from the PLR show, which is a Facebook group that he will accept you into, he should be able to answer that a little bit better. Yeah, good. No worries, Mira, no worries. So thank you, Jen. Thank you. Everybody loves this, and I love it too. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and pull back the host. Okay. And please feel free to stay on with us for the next 10 minutes as we do our member wins, but no pressure. It was really great talking to you today, and I really thank you for your time.
Yeah, I appreciate having a platform to share this stuff with, and it's great. The questions that have come in actually help me clarify, if I decide to teach how to do this a little bit more, it'll help me clarify some of the teaching aspects of it. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody.
I should say, I think that you should teach this more, because honestly, you're doing really great.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, Evelyn, Mira, Sandra, Carol. Hey, Carol. they're all saying that this was just really, really great stuff. So
Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and mute you up. And again, oh, Charlene suggested that you could even charge like $5 for an over-the-shoulder demo, which would be...
Yeah, the ladies that I have learned from, they started off teaching and way more than what I've done here, obviously. But they started teaching at like $24 for, a course, and they're up to like $97 for a course. So I know there's money to be made, and it's just a matter of whether I have the time and the wherewithal to do it. But I definitely feel encouraged, so thank you guys.
Yeah, we definitely, I think as a group, our consensus is you could be a rock star teacher. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Okay, guys. So now I wanted to go over just a couple of things with you guys before we part ways today. First, I wanted to let you know that we have a special coupon from Jenn. So this will take 25% off of your order, and you can use that to learn more about Jenn's planners and journals. And here is the second thing that we have, and this is pretty cool. Charlene Burke is actually here with us today, and she has graciously offered to talk to you guys about rewriting your or redoing your journals. She would be glad to help you with that. That's one of her specialties. Now, it's not listed in her original price list, but I do have her direct information for you. And again, this is Charlene Burke, and she will, we've already talked, and she will be glad to talk to anybody who would like some help editing these journals. So here's a scenario. You get your journals from Jenn. Oh gosh, you're so busy in your business. Aren't we all, right? Get your journals from Jenn, slip them over to Charlene. She takes care of the editing process for you. You get them back, do a little bit of proofing, and then you're good to go. You can pump them out like crazy. So that's the vision that I see. Now, let's talk about our member wins for the week. Does anyone have anything awesome that's happened in their business that they would like to share, especially if it has to do with how you've used your PLR this week? And while you guys are thinking about that, I did want to go over sorry, folks, I'm taking back the screen real quick. I did want to go over our member from last week. And that's the wonderful Carol. Carol was our Use PLR member spotlight for last week. She has this wonderful site that will help you transform your life after 50. The best is yet to come. So here's what Carol did that was so amazing. She actually took part in a book that was published on Kindle. It's the Gratitude book. I don't have the link in front of me, but if you've been following our emails, they've been in there. If you want it, then feel free to, and you don't have access to our emails, feel free to shoot me a private message after this, and I will get it for you. But so Carol did this wonderful, amazing thing. She took part in this book, and that, to me, was spectacular. Looks like we've got some great wins coming in. Mira just got hired to speak at a retreat in the spring. Way to go, Mira. That's really awesome. Oh, yeah, of course, Carol. So does anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we wrap up? And just as a reminder for those who are listening to the replay, if you ever want to be featured on our Use PLR member spotlight, what will happen is we will promote your program and the amazing thing that you did for a week, approximately, with Use PLR and Whole Food PLR. You will be promoted on social media as well as in our emails. And when we finish these weekly webinars, we do the replays on a web page. We have all the replays available for our customers over time. So passively, you will also get folks who kind of stumble onto your fun thing that you did in your website and all that stuff over time. It will stay on our website forever in that capacity. Sandra says congrats to everyone. Charlene says congrats, Carol. Yeah, Mira, of course, of course. All right, guys, so we will go ahead and wrap up. If you have any questions between this week and our next Power Hour, please send me an email at rachel@useplr.com or reply to any of the emails that you get from me pretty much on the daily. Also, of course, Mira. Mira says this is wonderful as always. You flatter me. Thank you, Mira. Next week, we are doing a regular PLR Power Hour. This is where it is just me and you guys talking about PLR questions answered, PLR resources, and kind of just, if you don't have anything to work on, it's an hour that you can carve out of your week to work on your PLR and focus on that. Some people come and they just mute us and they go about their business working on their PLR, and that's perfectly okay. So once again, I am Rachel Youngson from useplr.com and wholefoodplr.com. We were here today with our expert guest, Jenn Brockman from plannersandjournals.com, and she is amazing. If you guys have any questions for myself or for Jenn, please feel free to get in touch with me. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I really, really enjoy seeing you guys, and I can't wait to see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern on www.rachelonzoom.com. All right, guys, have a good one.